in our Jim Bowden. Now, despite the win, so yes, the Yankees got the win after all of that. Not all is well in Yankee land. Gerrit Cole, the shortest outing of his career, only 5 outs. They have spent a lot of dough, and they have a lot invested on him, and he has struggled. So what is going on with Cole?
Well, I'm not going to make excuses for him, but it was 43 degrees, and there was a 19-mile-an-hour wind. And when the game started, Gerrit Cole looked good. He punched out 3 of the first 4 Tigers that he faced. But it was the second inning that was bizarre. You know, there was a long delay, so we actually threw some pitches in front of the dugout before that second inning. And in the second inning, for whatever reason, he couldn't make a pitch. You know, he got to the 7, 8, 9 hitters, went 3 and 2 on all 3 of them, and walked all 3 of them. And then he got to 68 pitches, and Aaron Boone took him out. I'm not that worried about him, Jenny, because I'm looking at his average fastball velocity. It's been 97.9. That's what he does. He's been throwing his changeup 18% of the time. That's what his history says. The only thing different this year than last year is he's throwing more sliders and curveballs by about 10%. But we've got a small sample size here. He looks healthy to me. Mechanically, he looks fine. You know, is it mental? Perhaps. Is it we no longer have the sticky stuff? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm really not concerned. I think you'll see a good start the next time out. But you can't deny after 3 games started, he's got an ERA of 6.35. So I know Yankee fans are upset for what he's getting paid, but I don't see anything that's alarming.
Yeah, we were wondering this morning in the newsroom if this was Spider Tech related or if it was just the weather. But we'll see what happens with Cole the rest of the season. Now, maybe the Yankees should take a look at this player, Wellington Diaz. He's a high A pitcher, 25-year-old kid. He gives a new meaning to a slider. Take a look at this. Jim, walk me through what you're seeing here.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Bugs Bunny breaking ball, right? So I'm glad that he made this segment because it's probably the only national segment he's ever going to get. And he does celebrate his 25th birthday on Monday. But this is a guy in the minor leagues. He's got a 6.75 ERA right now in A-ball. In his career, he walks 5.9 hitters per 9 innings. Had a 5.4 ERA last year in A-ball. This is a pitcher that's never even going to get to Double-A. But I'm just proud that he made our segment this morning.
I'm proud that we could see the movement on that ball because that thing's nasty out there. But yeah, the walking issue is clearly a problem. All right, we're going to stay in New York, across town. What type of message do you think the Mets are sending with that doubleheader sweep of the Giants last night? Mets fans are excited about this.
I think they should be excited. I think the only question with the Mets is, are they going to win the division or get in on as a wild card team? I mean, they're that good, and they showed that last night in that doubleheader sweep. I mean, the Giants won 107 games last year and basically ran the team mostly back. I think what's really standing out to me with the New York Mets is the pitching staff because the rotation's legitimate. You saw Max Scherzer last night dominate. And with Scherzer and Bassett and McGill and Carrasco, that's a solid 4. And that's even without Jacob deGrom. And if they get Jacob deGrom back in the second half, this is a rotation when you get to October playoffs that can run the table easily and win a world championship. So they're legitimate. All the moves they've been making are paying off. You know, Francisco Lindor now looks like the player they thought they were originally trading for and gave him that big contract. He's a much better looking player than when we saw last year. Starling Marte is fitting in extremely well. Pete Alonso, when he's DHing, is just absolutely raking and driving runs in. This is a really good Mets team. This isn't your dad's Mets team. This is not the Wilpons Mets team. This is Steve Cohen's Mets team, and they're going to be legitimate not just this year, but years to come.
Yeah, and he's a great follow on Twitter. Always having fun out there. All right, I've got to ask you about Robbie Ray. His first 2 outings, they were on the road. Finally got that home game, and he was dealing last night for the Mariners. What'd you see?
Yeah, well, the kind of money that you're paying him, that's what you need to see. But, you know, he has a pretty good start to his Mariners career. Last night, he had his best stuff that he's had. And remember, we had a shortened spring training. And so because of this, the third start is kind of like the opening day start in a normal spring training. You know, his first start on April 8th against Minnesota, he went 7 innings, only gave up an earned run, but he walked 4 guys. His next start against the White Sox, he got lit up, but he did last 6 1/3 innings in that game. But last night, it was just, he threw strikes. He had command of the ball. Only walked 1 batter last night. That's what really stood out to me. And the stuff looked like the Cy Young stuff that he had a year ago. So I know the Mariners have to be happy. But again, I think the slow start had more to do with the shortened spring training because what he threw last night would have been, in a normal year, his opening day start.
Before we go, I want to celebrate Angel Hernandez, something that's actually not typically done. Usually when you hear a name like that, someone is booing or saying that there was a wrong call.
Ooh.
But let's give credit where credit was due. So enforcement of a rule that we don't typically see. I didn't even know that this existed. A pitcher cannot lick his fingers while standing on the pitching rubber. It's an automatic ball. Jim, how often have you seen this?
I mean, I've seen a couple of times the pitcher's done that, and the umpire normally will just say, hey, cut it out. Make sure you walk off the mound before you do it, especially, when starting early in the season in the cold weather, pitchers like to do that. For Angel Hernandez to call it, for him, he just wanted publicity. He wanted his name for us to talk about today. Look, in my 16 years as a GM, Jenny, he was the worst umpire. Every year as a GM, I had to rank the umpires. He always was at the bottom because he was so confrontational, and he always tries to make a decision before it happens. He always wanted to be a headline, but now with instant replay, we fix all his mistakes. Back in the day, we'd be talking about him every single day, but instant replay has changed that. So you can celebrate him calling that ball. Sorry about that. With my experience with him, I'm not going to do it.
Whoa, truth comes out. Well, I guess it's already been out for a while there, but I like hearing it from you, Jim. You tell him how you really feel. Thanks for joining us today on CBS Sports HQ. Jim Bowden, always a pleasure. We got some great games coming at you today, of course. We've got the Braves and the Dodgers. That's a day game, so that'll be exciting to see which one ends up winning that series out there. Also, a good Red Sox game on tap tonight. I will be headed out to Fenway Park later this afternoon to go check it out.
Bowden bringing us.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.